Dr. Kelly OMZ, your board certified OBGYN and healthcare consultant, here to help you live your healthiest and wealthiest life. Our company, Viva Life, is here to help you spiritually, physically, financially. F is in financial, and that's why we're having this discussion today, mentally and emotionally. And the way that we focus on this is through meditation, journaling, exercise, optimizing our nutrition, hormones, and sleep while we eat the Viva Life 5 foods: fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, beans, and drinking our water. But what good is all of that if we don't have wealth with our health? And that's why we have our friend, my new friends. Let me tell you, I met TC Chambers and Stacy Stiles at a business meeting. I heard what they had to say, and I was like, I have got to bring them in the community. So, TC Chambers and Stacy Stiles, why don't y'all tell us a little bit about yourselves and the 3 things you want us to take away tonight in this discussion? Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stacey Stiles, and I am an enrolled agent with the IRS, which is the highest designation that you receive from the IRS. I have 25 years of accounting and tax experience, and I am the go-to person for tax strategies, and I am able to save people thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes every single year. TC?
She's one bad lady. I just want to let you all know that. She's someone you absolutely want to listen to. I'm TC Chambers, business success strategist. I have 30 plus years in business, and the things that I will convey with you, I actually have applied myself. So it's not theory, it's been applied, tested, and used successfully. And I look forward to being able to share with you ladies. 3 takeaways I would like you to get from this is: first, wealth is principle based. So it's a science, a step-by-step process. You have the steps, you can absolutely succeed. The second, you must adapt the mindset, skill sets, and tool sets needed to facilitate your transformation from where you are now to where you want to get to. And the third takeaway is the key to success is taking massive action.
I absolutely love that. First of all, y'all heard, we have experts in the room that are talking to you. So even though this is educational only, just know that they are sharing their expertise with you, and they're just giving you the top 3 things you're going to take away. So we're going to hold them to that and go ahead and get started. TC, Stacy, it's y'all's floor.
So again, I just wanted to first start off by thanking Dr. Kelly, as well as all you ladies of Viva Life for sharing your time with us and giving us the honor and privilege to be able to do what we're going to do here tonight. What's in for you? Bottom line up front, freedom. We all want it. Time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. And that's what this evening is all going to be about. And just think about it. I want you to think about this. When you were a kid, you couldn't wait to grow up and get out of your house because you were sick and tired of grown folk telling you what to do, what time to get up, what to wear, when to go eat, when to go home, all these things you can do. Well, as an adult, I found myself in that same situation. They still told me what time to get up because I had to be there by a certain hour. They still told me what I had to wear, whether it's a suit or whether it's scrubs or whether it's a military uniform. They still told me when I can go eat and when I can go home. I was determined to change that, and that's what I did. And that's all about freedom, and I hope you are in that same situation. So TC Chambers, born and raised in Philadelphia. I finished my first 2 years of college in Philly, transferred to a state college for financial reasons, got into ROTC for financial reasons. I then got commissioned, second lieutenant in the Army. So I spent 8 years in the military, followed by transitioning to corporate America. With my first year, I made 6 figures, but I also had to pay a 5-figure check to the IRS. Despite that same year getting in business and having a phenomenal mentor that told me, here are the tax advantages of having a business. And at that time, it was just a home-based business that will save you thousands. He was an awesome mentor. I wasn't such a good mentee until I had to write that check. We want to stop you from having to write that check. And more than just that, how to stair-step your way to wealth, stair-step your way to freedom. I said it's principle-based. Here are the 4 principles for building wealth. The first one is business ownership. Now, you'll have access to this information in detail at a later time, so I'm going to breeze through it real fast so Stacey can have the bulk of the time and give you the meat and potatoes, the actionable steps. But business ownership is the first principle. Why? 1, the tax advantages you get from being a business owner. The government is very good at giving you financial incentive for doing the things they want you to do. You rent, you get no tax advantages. They want you to be homeowners. You buy a home, become a homeowner, now you get tax advantages. They want you to invest for yourself in your future so you're not relying on them. So if you invest in your 401k, 403b, your TSP, they're going to give you tax advantages for doing so. Again, financial incentive. Well, if you're a business owner, they're now going to give you the ability, if you know the strategies, how to make your lifestyle tax deductible. And that's what Stacey is going to talk to you about. The second reason you have to be in business, and business is that first principle, is equity. See, if we have the opportunity to rent or own, we want to own because we know that mortgage that we're paying, that $1,500 a month in this example, we're paying a mortgage off. But if you're the owner, you own that equity. You can will it, sell it, transfer it, give it to your children. But if you're renting, you're still building that equity. You just don't own it. Well, the same thing goes with your time, talent, education, leadership, influence, your money. It goes to build equity. But if you're an employee role only, even if you're making six figures, you don't own the equity. That beautiful office you have, you cannot give it to your son or daughter next week. That parking spot, it's really not yours. It's just temporary. So the reason, tax advantages and equity, you owning the equity that your labor and time put into it. Second principle, which is super important, and we're going to talk a lot about, and Stacey's going to talk about, is leverage. Put a 1 in the chat if you heard of OPM, leveraging OPM, other people's money. Many of you have heard of that, but have you heard of OPA? The second principle is about OPA, leveraging other people's assets to grow your business, their time, talent, education, leadership, and money. So you want to leverage the time, talent, education, leadership, experience, knowledge of Stacey and myself to save you tens of thousands of dollars annually and increase your cash flow. It's all about leverage. See, I want you to think about this. If you needed $50,000, access to $50,000 to start your next venture, how long will it take you to save that? With your current lifestyle, with your current budget, how long will it take you? Well, if you understand leverage and you want to leverage other people's money, you could have that in 3 weeks. So leverage is a very important part of it. Leveraging VAs. Second, the third principle is royalty residual income. It's known as MRR these days, monthly reoccurring revenue. In other words, you get a customer today, it pays your grandbabies. Do work today that takes care of you down the road and your grandbabies. The fourth principle is a trend. It's putting your business and what you're doing in front of red hot trends. It helps push you and propel you. Like trends like AI. If you have anything in front of AI, it's propelling your business like a rocket ship. So those are the four principles: business ownership, asset leveraging, royalty residual income, and red hot trends. Those are the things that you need to be able to apply. Now, taxes and cash flow is a part of it. So I'm going to turn it over to Stacey now so she can give you some meat and potatoes on how you can turn your lifestyle into tax deductible items. And then she'll send it back to me. Stacey, all yours.
Right. TC, thank you for that. That was powerful. Oh my gosh. You got me over here excited. I'm like, wait a minute, calm down. Thank you so much. Well, thanks again to everyone that is on the line this evening. We definitely, like TC said, we have a lot to share with you. And I'm going to share my screen. How your lifestyle can save you $10,000 in taxes annually. As I stated earlier, my name is Stacy Stiles, and as a licensed enrolled agent and with over 25 years of experience, I am your go-to tax strategist for turning tax headaches into opportunities. I specialize in helping high-income earners and small businesses not just survive, but thrive by unlocking cash flow, reducing your tax burdens, and optimizing after-tax income. As high-income professionals, you're often missing out on key tax saving strategies. You work hard to build your career. Now, let's make your lifestyle work for you by minimizing your taxes. So we're going to reveal some actionable strategies that can help you save over $10,000 annually by optimizing your situation, whether you're a business owner, a high W-2 earner, or just feeling overwhelmed by taxes. We're going to show you small lifestyle adjustments can have a huge financial impact. It is your legal right not to pay taxes. Did you know that? And I am here to lead you down the path to not pay any taxes legally. So put a 1 or 2 in the chat if you owed taxes last year or if you received a refund. Put a 1 for owed and 2 for refund. All right.
One,
So let me
two.
give you some tax facts here. So high income earners often feel the tax burden more acutely, especially when they overpay due to a lack of proper tax strategy. So just here's some tax facts just to give you some information. According to the Wall Street Journal, 31% of high income earners overpay on taxes, while the Forbes estimates that 83% don't have a tax plan in place. So if you don't have a tax plan in place, 9 times out of 10, you're going to owe unless, you receive a refund, which is very rare as you continue to increase your wealth. And one thing to note, Congress gave the IRS $80 billion, which they use to hire 87,000 agents. And the IRS promised Congress they collect $200 billion in return from high income earners. So today we're going to dive into the steps you can take to avoid the pitfalls and keep more of your hard-earned income. So are you overpaying in taxes? Tired of overpaying? As stated, high W-2 earners and business owners often overpay due to missed deductions and lack of tax planning. Whether it's due to overpaying taxes is a common issue. If you're tired of seeing a large portion of your hard-earned money go to taxes, then you're not alone. One question here, tax strategist versus CPA. So the difference, a CPA is seasonal, normally focuses on reporting history and often works solo, whereas a tax strategist works year-round, plans for the future, and works with a team to build wealth. The tax CPAs aren't bad people. They just work in the past and they work on history, whereas tax strategists are looking to plan to ensure that you have all the strategies in place to avoid paying taxes in the following year. So if you can't go backwards, you always have to look forward. So do me a favor, have you been working with a CPA or a tax strategist? Drop a 1 or 2 in the chat if you've been working with a CPA, a 1, or a tax strategist, a 2.
One. Lots of ones.
Lots of ones. And again, CPAs are great. Some CPAs just aren't tax strategists. And we believe that the biggest challenge facing high achievers isn't in working harder or convincing ourselves that paying taxes is what you're supposed to do. It's getting the right information. So next, I'm going to show you some key tax saving strategies that you can do in the fourth quarter before the end of the year to reduce your tax liability. So let's discuss home office deduction. A lot of people know about this deduction, whereas you can deduct home office expenses if you have an office in your home. You basically take the difference. You take the percentage of the square footage of the office, compare that to the total square footage, and then whatever that percentage is, you can deduct your mortgage interest, your utilities, your internet, repairs that you had that affect that office, and many others. Another one is retirement contributions. So you want to maximize your contributions to retirement plans, which are pre-tax. So you're saving on income tax. So you want to maximize that as much as possible to reduce your taxes. Also, one that a lot of people don't know, you can pay your children, and it's not taxable to your child as long as it's not above $14,600, which is the standard deduction for 2024. So they don't have to pay taxes on it. However, you can deduct it as a business owner. So you need a business with this strategy. So if you're a W-2 earner, unfortunately, you can't use this strategy, but business owners can, and your child has to be at least 7 years old. Also, depreciation allows for tax deductions on assets. So you can depreciate equipment. If you're a real estate investor, a lot of real estate investors know you can depreciate the asset of the home and also the repairs. And there's other depreciation. You can accelerate depreciation to where you're depreciating the entire cost of the asset that you're purchasing. Another one that you can do in Q4 is called the Augusta rule. Again, if you have a business, you can rent your home for conferences or meetings that are tax-free for up to 14 days a year. So you can receive a deduction on your business taxes, and you do not have to include that in your income, in your personal income. So you're getting a deduction and you're not including that in your income, which would increase your income and therefore increase your taxes. So those are just a few of some tax saving strategies that you can implement today and in Q4 so you can minimize your tax liability for 2024. Another thing we all know. So what are two things that are guaranteed in life? Death and taxes, right? So yeah, that's your single biggest expense. So we need to find ways to reduce it because taxes can be 30 to 40% of your income. And most people don't realize how much they're losing by paying taxes. So by developing a tax strategy, you can take control of this significant expense. Also, how much of your money goes to the IRS. Understanding your tax burden is the first step to reducing it. So I'm going to turn it back to TC, but now is the time to start putting the right tax and wealth building strategies in place. And it's time to stop overpaying and start keeping more of what you earn. If you're committed to taking action, drop committed in the chat. TC, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. And listen, that doesn't even scratch the surface. She didn't talk about yourself. She didn't talk about your internet access. She didn't talk about your meals. She didn't talk about your travel. It's so much more, but don't feel overwhelmed because we are launching on November 4th the #1 community on how to make Uncle Sam your partner to save you thousands and thousands of dollars of taxes annually, as well as increase your cash flows. The Tax and Cash Flow Accelerator community. Now, everyone here, you're going to get an opportunity to get an early peek to be able to join that community earlier, even at a discount. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a link in the chat, and that'll give you a little more information on it. But bottom line, the most important thing it does, it gives you access to us weekly for at least an hour, where we're going to give you more lessons. We're going to give you the step-by-step how to implement these strategies, as well as have Q&A. Key is principle based. See, one of the things you hear a lot of people talking about is I want to vote for this person that's going to give me tax advantages. You have the power to give yourself those tax advantages by becoming an entrepreneur. Don't be afraid. We can help walk you through the process, a very simple process. And then once you have the step-by-step, it's about executing consistently. And then it's about being a part of a like-minded community, just like Viva Life, that you feel comfortable with. It becomes a safe space for you. So I'm going to drop that link. And what you'll find in there that the membership is $37 a month. Just think about it, $37 a month to save $10,000 plus in taxes and have access to the knowledge of getting business funded, how to set your businesses up, all those things you need to get from where you are to where you want to go. So let me drop that in the chat now, and then I believe they're going to open it up for.
Yep, I'm answering all these and laughing at all these responses right here because y'all killed it. Y'all killed it. So first of all, thank you. Let's get to some of these questions because I know people have them. I mean, of course, there's a lot of responses here in the chat as well because they're so excited. They want you to have you back and all of those great things. I told y'all that I was bringing the game changers to you. So let's see. One of the questions is, of course, I asked who's hosting the next Viva Life meetup so we can write it off. But back to that question of, okay, if you do have an space and the up to 14 days, that has to, so it has to be some type of invoice exchange to say, like, for example, TR. They're coming for a nursing event, and it's going to be $500 to rent the space. So can you just kind of walk us through that piece?
Yes. So you would treat it as if you were renting a legitimate space. So you're renting out your, say, the dining room or the 2 floors in your home. So you want to create a lease or a contract. You definitely want to create an invoice as well, and you want to pay yourself. You have to, money actually has to exchange, has to exchange, go from the business to your personal account. And also, it has to be a home. It cannot be an apartment. You have to be something that you own, not an apartment that you rent or a home that you rent either. So, and it's only, the limit is 14 days. So you can do it for 14 days, and it has to be a reasonable rent, reasonable catering. If you have entertainment, like that's included as well. So there really is no limit to, it just can't be, it has to be reasonable.
Love
Everything
it.
with the IRS is reasonable.
Reasonable. Got it. Question from one of our Viva Lifers. Do you want to come off mute and ask the question?
Okay.
So, I'm considering renting out my home since for tax purposes, the interest does not come back to me. Well, at least it is my understanding that if it's my primary residence as opposed to an investment property, the interest that I'm paying on the mortgage does not return to me.
If you're living in the home, you can deduct the interest on the mortgage if you
Okay.
own the home. So the interest is deductible if you are living in it or renting it. So if you're renting a home and you have a mortgage on a home that you have a renter in, you can deduct you're deducting the mortgage anyway, on
I
your.
understand for investment properties, but
Okay.
I did not know that for primary residence.
Yes, you're allowed to deduct your interest as a primary.
Okay, thank you.
The challenge usually is with CPAs, they look at the math. And sometimes the interest off your mortgage, those itemized deductions end up being less than your standard deduction. So they'll recommend that you don't do it that way.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Great question. Great answers. Another Viva Lifer, SB, strategies for a single high earner with no dependents. How to avoid paying 40% upfront. Francis is available. No, I'm just kidding.
So there
First thing
are
is set up a business.
yes.
No
Definitely.
Don't sugarcoat it.
Definitely.
You gotta have a business. That's the way you get deductions.
And also, and make sure you're maximizing your retirement contributions. But TC is right. It's hard for W-2 earners if you don't have a business. If you have a business, it's easier. But there are still some strategies that we can look into, like equipment leasing. I'm not sure if you've heard of leasing a piece of equipment and renting it out so you can get the depreciation on it. So if you want to purchase something that you think someone would want to rent, you're also receiving income. So you're going to start a business in the sense of that anyway. So there's a lot of different options that are available to high income earners, W-2 as well as business. It's just you have to dive deeper into them. There's not a whole lot on the surface.
I love it. I love it. So SB, we start a business next year. That's what we do. All righty. What is the max deduction for the August rule?
There's no max. It just has to be reasonable, and it can only be 14 days, no more than 14 days.
I love it. Yeah, we can start once a day. Absolutely.
And you can be strategic about it. For example, let's say you're in Augusta. You could choose to rent your home to yourself during the Masters, because the rent to rent out a home during that time frame statistically is much higher during that time than it is when it's not the Masters. During the winter time, you rent your home out in Miami to yourself versus the summertime, because seasonal rates in Miami are much higher during the winter than they are during the summer. So you be strategic about it to help you with that as well.
Y'all just blowing my hair. You know, I just got my silk press done and y'all are just making it blow in the wind. I'm just saying, y'all bringing it. Okay, another question, sorry. I've established an LLC, but it's not producing earnings yet. Can I still itemize deductions?
You can still, so a lot of new LLCs don't start out making money right away. So you can take a loss with your expenses, but you're always going to have those expenses. So you definitely want to keep track of those expenses, and you can deduct them on your tax return as well. Because a lot of people say, oh, I started the business, but I'm really not doing anything. And I always ask, have you spent any money? And they always say, yeah, I've spent a lot of money. That's deductible. Now, so say you also have a job and you have a W-2, that loss will offset some of your tax liability on your W-2, and you may end up getting a refund. So, yes.
And I will tell you, I have been in business technically since 2010 and absolutely have used this exact same strategy since 2010. So very good. Thank you so much. I concur. Another question. Is it better to lease a vehicle or buy one under a business?
It depends. You can deduct both. So right now, it depends on the type of vehicle you purchase too. If you purchase a vehicle over 6,000 pounds, you can depreciate. This year it's 60%. So they're phasing it out. It used to be 100%. So that's why you see a lot of people with those, what's the Mercedes, the G-Wagon?
G-Wagons.
So you see, I think you've seen a lot of those G-Wagons on the road because they were able to deduct that cost 100% in 2022 and prior. I think it's from 19 to 22, but the government is phasing it out now. So you can deduct 60% if you purchase, but if you lease, you can only deduct the lease amount. And it's based on the percentage of business use. So if it's 50%, then you would just deduct 50% of that lease.
Awesome. Okay, we got one more question. I'm sorry, y'all. I know if you want to be a part of more of this, they have dropped the link in the chat already. But we have one more question, and we do have a lot of medical people here and provide medical care. So The question is 2024 deductible for medical expenses. What is the amount of what is the amount for 2024 deductible for medical expenses? Like how much can you
it has to be over 7.5% of your income.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see. I think that is,
yes, for the car is 6,000 pounds or more.
Awesome. All right, y'all, that's all the time we have because we start on time and we end on time. But I want to give TC as well as Stacy Stiles an opportunity to retell us their information. Drop it in the chat so that everyone can know how to become a part of their tax strategy community. Go ahead, Joe.
So the link is in there. I want to help you with this mindset shift. Many people are confused. I don't know what type of business. What comes easy to you but difficult to others? And we can package that in a way that you could serve others by helping them get from point A, point B, based on what comes easy to you and difficult to others. But the mindset shift you have to have is this. Thanksgiving is coming up. It could be a Thanksgiving dinner or it can be a dinner reception. It's totally up to you. Some people travel during December. It can be a vacation, which you get 0 deductions for, or it can be a business trip. It's totally up to you. We can help you with the strategies to implement, but you have to position yourself first so these tax laws apply to you. A lot more we can help you with.
Love it. And as y'all know, who's coming over for the reception? Exactly. As y'all know, I'm Dr. Kelly, OMD. We also have, this is the Viva Life SPF Me community where we help you live your healthiest and wealthiest life, spiritually, physically, financially, mentally, and emotionally. If you want to join our community, all you have to do is hit the links that we've sent out to you. And I highly recommend being in the inner circle and being that one-on-one, because not only do you get access to people like this, you also get access to one-on-one information through your text experience and by phone calls. So that being said, thank you so much, TC and Stacy. Thank you so much. And never forget to do what? Viva Life. All right. Thank you for being a part of the Viva Life experience. I'm Dr. Kelly OMD, board certified OBGYN and healthcare executive. If you like what you heard, then please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. The reason why is because we are trying to educate, encourage, and inspire 1 million people to live their healthiest and wealthiest life. And this is what we're bringing you. We're bringing you educational videos. We're bringing you podcasts. We are bringing you webinars with subject matter experts, including myself, about the topics that affect you the most. So go ahead, like, subscribe, and share. We are everywhere. Have a wonderful day. Viva Life.